on you're a radical. So the epic decline of March Madness in Ogden, Utah used to be the most exciting time of the year right here in the Purple Palace. Well, Weber State in the tournament, always had great players, great teams, always a threat to knock over anybody. Them days are way over. Tournament games in this building. Jason Kidd's last game, the major upset by the Cheeseheads, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Jimmy Valvano cutting down the nets in that gigantic upset in the second round to move on to Albuquerque in the pit and win the national championship. The McRae brothers in this building. Think of that epic run. Ainge sent packing here. Danny, you know, so many players, so many great games. Incredible. Lamar, Billy Tubbs upsets Weber State, a 6 seed at home in this building. 1980. Could have been the best team they ever had, 79-80. You know, that's Ben Howland. So, Big Sky basketball has reached an all-time low. For the first time in the field of 64, nope. I've always argued against these conference tournaments in schools of this size in the so-called mid-majors. I've always argued against them because what's the regular season even mean? It means nothing. Because if you don't win the tournament, you don't go. So, Weber State beat upset for the third year in a row in the Big Sky tournament. But so was Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington, people think Weber State won the conference. No, they didn't. Weber State ended up, what, 4th or 5th? What? With an NBA first rounder? Yeah. So Damian Lillard got upset in this building. It used to be the conference championship game was played on the home court. And 4 teams went. Well, Weber lost, what, 3 times in here as the home court. The only school that's ever done it. Lillard on the floor, 2 of them. You know, had the broken foot, the other one. So this building has not been packed since the CIT championship game with Joe Ballenboy and Damian Lillard's cousin, Barry. God, it was so fun, so exciting. Yeah, they won 30 games that year. That was April 30th, I believe. The place was pretty well sold. I sat with Eddie Tillman. You know, so there's no crowds in here anymore. It's all downhill. Randy Rayism. What's the definition of insanity? You know it. So this coaching staff's been here now for going on 20, well, it is 20 years, isn't it? Yeah, they got here in 25, 26. Randy Ray, go on, take the money and run. Ooh, I told everybody, you'll never see him again. You know, life says time to go. Yes, okay. So off he went. He was never here to win. He was here for the money. Now, Damian Lillard never played an NCAA tournament? Nope. 3 of the top 5 players in the history of this school. Could be. At least 3 of the top 10. Damian Lillard never played an NCAA tournament, but at least Damian Lillard went to the championship game, and it took Anthony Johnson going insane to beat him. And then Cherry up there beat him with those great, great teams that Lillard played on. All-American Lillard. By the way, Dylan Jones got snuffed. Well, the Big Sky's getting snuffed. They have no respect. I wonder why. So the Big Sky now in NCAA March Madness, NCAA tournament, this century, 1 in 25. Right. Montana State had to play in the play-in game against Grambling, up by 14. They got beat in overtime. What? You know, Dylan Jones last year, double overtime against Montana State. He played all 4 years. And the thing is, these are players, Jerry Carding, Damian Lillard, Dylan Jones, who did this traditionally. I mean, they played all 4 years. They didn't transfer in. I mean, they came here as young guys, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and stayed the whole time. Yeah, Dylan played 4 years here, but yeah, they canceled the tournament in 2020. COVID's been such a flaw to college basketball. Why? Look, you got 27-year-olds, 26-year-olds, and not just at BYU. I mean, the oldest player in the country, at least second oldest, Moody played for Montana. 27 years old. These guys have wives, kids, careers. It's a nuts is what it is. I mean, it's really nuts. They traditionally used to be 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds. That was it, right? But them days. So, the historic downfall of Weber State. Their population goes up as far as student body. School business. I was the guy. The 1990s talk about the capitulation. Paul Thompson to me. I sat with him when he fired a Bagel. I was in Seattle when Harold Arsenault, the show, and Eddie Gill knocked over North Carolina and should have beat Florida. I really felt they were a Final Four team, the great Ronald Bagel. Can't fire him. Kev, you know, this is an intellectual school. This is a dynamic school. We're going to turn this into the Ivy League of public schools. I said, what do you mean turn it in? We already are. Are you asleep? We're the #1 school business. #1 via the testing. I ran into Mike Vaughn right over here yesterday. Me and him have always batted heads. You know, he was the dean. When Clyde Cooley died, and by the way, Clyde Cooley was not 70 years old. And that was their theme over there. Just right before they got the NBA, they wanted the supply chain. I'm like, no. Why would you gut the #1 school business? He would have none of it. He gets a virus in his brain and drops it. He was in perfect condition. I said, how old are you? Oh, I'm 69. I says, oh, so that was old when he died, because that's what he was. I think he was 68. He was perfect 68. I mean, this guy looked like he's 30, 40. And they go just slide downhill. I used to say, well, I used to tell Leo, tell him what you put in his tea. I mean, it's like when Jackson missed that free throw and it rimmed out to send him to the Sweet 16. It was like it was over. It was like somebody went. Harold Arsenault, the show, right in here this year. In that, read a single performance in Weber State March Madness history. Well, in any Weber State game, Harold Arsenault, the show. But Bagelin knew that he was on fire. Let him grow. Let him go. And he did. These coaches didn't know that with Lillard. They sure the hell didn't know with Dylan Jones. They sure the hell didn't know with Jerry Carter. Jerry Carter could have put up 60 anytime he wanted. Dylan Jones could have put up 50 anytime he wanted. Lillard could have probably put up 50 or 60 anytime he wanted. They wouldn't let him. This team, so they get, I mean, it's so disgusting. So the CIT, which I'm all for, let's play. So I talked to a couple of players yesterday. We voted to go. Did they get an invite? I think so. Did they turn it out? Yeah. They turned it down last year. Why? Coaches, lazy-ass coaches, ready for vacation. That's what it's all about here. It's not about winning. When you have the same coaching staff here that's been here for 20 years who gutted this legendary and if you don't believe me, you look at the fucking crowds. You're talking an NBA first rounder on here. He'll be a super, no doubt in my mind. You know, everybody can talk shit and that thing. He would have went late in the first round last year and came back. We'll see, because they have a combine in the NBA. We'll see. It's like he did last year. It's just like Jerry Harding when he finally got invited to the Summer League because it was COVID the next year. Summer League player of the freaking thing, go ask the Mavericks. He only shoots 62% from the field for a season. He's a guard. He's that good over there in Europe. I mean, look at Damian Lillard, please. I mean, come on. I mean, it's heartbreaking to here in Ogden, Utah. It's really devastating to us what they've done. The great Arnie Farron, who got us all this year, he's from Ogden, yeah, head of the NCAA committee. He died this year. You know, the guy that has the NBA ring. By the way, the first player of color in the history of the NBA, oh, he's from Ogden. He played at Weber State. Oh, it was just a JC. Oh, okay. Just a JC. National champion. Born and raised on 25th Street, Wapamasaka. What? Who's that? Oh, this year I've thrown such a fit. They did a ceremony with a ball that nobody even paid attention because the cheer squad with the national championship. By the way, cheering is not a sport. Fuck. And they grandstand that shit. Not a sport. Not a sport. Sorry, not a fucking sport. The Wattis curse is alive and well. When a team in a mid-major wins their conference, they should go to the dance. There should be no tournament, let alone take them all. Eastern Washington won this 2 years in a row. They should be in the dance. I think they're playing in the CIT. I don't know if they went to the NIT or the CIT. Maybe the NIT. I don't know. This it's a joke. And I said it. I threw a fit about it. And now they have it. First it was in Reno. Clear up in freaking Boise. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. It's greed. So Montana State goes crazy from the arc. Gets hot. Weaver was up by 13 in the second half. Dylan Jones on fire. Why did they quit going to him? Because these guys don't know how to coach. I mean, it's obvious, right? Come on. You can't win with Damian Lillard. Please. You can't win with Jerry Carter. You can't win with Joe Ball. Boy, I got in a big old fight with Randy Ray after the Xavier loss. At least they went to the tournament. Like, how the fuck you lose to Xavier? Well, we're just not good enough. Is all that. We don't get players like you when back in the Bacon days. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? We don't get players like you. You had more talent than any fucking coach, including Dick Motta and Phil Johnson. By the way, it's true. I mean, Sakowitz read me the right act on the 68-69 team. We should have went to the Elite Eight, but he missed the front ends. The greatest team, Phil Johnson, I think he was 28 years old when he coached that team. If he would have coached the Jazz, they would have got Sloan off the fucking field. No doubt in my mind, they have 3 or 4 fucking rings. These guys are so predictable, and all these coaches know each other. It's unbelievable. Well, Smiley coaches in Northern Colorado, they get knocked out too. Same thing. They all know each other too well. They know what they're going to do before they do. It's overcoaching. And this stupid fucking tournament they play, Montana State goes in 17-17. So they put them in the play-in game. Rightfully so. I mean, come on, they lost. First time in history, no Big Sky. I mean, these teams always pull. I mean, remember Steve Hayes in 1980, that great team? Idaho State, they went to the Elite Eight. I mean, Weber State always had great teams. I mean, Weber State always into that tournament. Which put the fair, I mean, the 78, 79, was it that year that, yeah, I think it was when Weber had to run into Sidney Moncrief in the second round. And they went from 32 to 40, then to 64. Now they play that stupid-ass playing game, which is ridiculous. But it's a conference tournament in mid-majors. In mid-major, because you're not going to get 2 teams out of a mid-major. They're not going to do it. You know, and the thing with the Big Sky, it's real simple. And I've said this for years. You coaches have got to get ready and win big games. This team did win big games. They beat St. Mary's on the road. They're in. They beat Yale, Clearback East on the road. They stopped Oral Roberts' long 2-year winning streak at Oral Roberts. I mean, they had Colgate beat, on the road. I mean, all these they beat the Jackrabbits. All these teams win their conference. Weber State beat them all. But they couldn't beat the teams that they were supposed to because these coaches all know each other. By the way, Parker, who's so good, he wanted to play here, but come on. Is he a 6th or 7th year guy? He's playing, I think it's at least his 6th year. It's so freaking ridiculous and unfair. And so these conference tournaments, they need to get rid of them. Win the freaking conference regular season and go to the dance. It's that simple. I mean, a post-tournament in a conference like Big Sky is a disaster. This just proved it. So Montana State gets hot. Teams upset teams. Eastern Washington loses twice in a row, gets upset by a hot team. It happens. These are one-game scenarios. So the body of work for the whole season doesn't mean a damn thing. You don't even get the home court. So the downfall, I mean, I said it when Big Sky did it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's ridiculous. Even the 4 team with the home team is ridiculous. They shouldn't even have a postseason freaking tournament. Nobody goes anyway. Everybody's sick of them. Weber wouldn't have won anyway. Of course not. Eastern Washington. Dylan Jones never did win the Big Sky Championship. Not in regular season or the tournament. Not his fault. Greatest player in the history of this school could be. Fucking stats. We'll see how it plays out. When he goes to Combine, I've got him at number 5 in the NBA draft. You can laugh all you want. I'm the first guy that said Damian Lillard was going in the top 10. Play back the tape, Your Honor. Nobody laughed. Until they worked him out. And then they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. His stock went, woo! I've told Dylan this 1,000,000 times. Don't even worry about it until after the season's over. Your numbers are what they are. Everybody's got their attention on you because of Damian Lillard. I think that's what made Damian Lillard the great player that he is in the NBA is these losses here. More comes out of losing than ever come out of winning. Boy, that's the truth. Look at these players in Europe. When Zaire Porter puts up 53 in a game in Europe and he writes the bench here, I mean, what does that tell you? These coaches don't know how to coach. Same in football, you have the great Jay Hill. I see Opeta's with Opeta's a local, grew up in Utah. Played at Weber State. The only scholarship he got was from Jay Hill. Jay Hill could recognize talent, and he took a chance on guys. Let's see. The same team, there's 4 of those guys in the NFL, and not counting Adam Rodriguez turning up in the US. The only guy who gave him scholarships. Opeta signed with Tampa Bay. He's a beast. I was right over there when they had Pro Day. He broke the bench record, the all-time, at the NFL workout day. I think he broke it by 7 or 8 reps. So, the great player they did. How about Jonah Williams? Rep here. which I called North Utah or Southern Idaho. He's playing for the Vikings now. Now, Rashid Shaheed's trapped in that contract, but nobody would touch him, which blows my mind. Play back the tape. Who's the first guy that was saying Rashid Shaheed would have been an NFL superstar? Play back the tape. So I did the play-by-play for him. I knew. I mean, they wouldn't use him properly, but Jay Hill was a defense guy. Look at Teron Johnson. Highest played nickelback in the history of the NFL. He never won it. I don't think they won a game that first year he played here. And they didn't win any at home, you know. And then by the end of his career, talk about a turnaround thing. And he wasn't a pick-six guy. He was a lockdown, just like Maxwell Anderson. It's like, I mean, Winston Reed. These are all Jay Hill guys. Eddie Hecker, he'll go to the NFL. These are all Jay Hill guys, you know. Jack Kelly, I mean, the BMX bike rider, I mean, he's back there at BYU now. It's those Collins. I wonder why, wouldn't you? Abraham Williams, another Jay Hill guy. Where's he at? Idaho. What? Idaho. I've had 3 different people tell me, including Weiser, who was the quarterback from both, Rashid and him. He's faster than Rashid. I said, nobody's faster than Rashid. So Rashid's trapped. I mean, come on. Pro Bowler who was never drafted, who's making the league minimum. What? These are ridiculous, but at least the Saints gave him one. Nobody else even wanted him. He made the practice squad by the hair of his... It blows my mind, the talent that's been on this university, that they cannot win. You know, Jay Hill won. Don't get me wrong. Oh, Jay Hill won. They had some heartbreaking losses. But, so why would you get rid of that culture? The winning culture, they get rid of it. The losing culture, they keep it here. So the assistants get promoted here where it's reward for failure, just like in the school business. So the losing culture here, so promote the Randy Lee's, thank goodness. The Reyes, oh, they just promote his understudy who's been with him the whole time. And it's the same old, same old. Football, they're winning. They're winning the Jay Hill, so why don't you promote one of those guys? Oh, no, this is how degenerate they are. They bring in a high school fucking coach from freaking Midwest. So the downfall of Weber State athletics. I mean, Jay Hill turns this Titanic around and they just shred it. Well, it's like the school business. #1 school business in the country. #1 biology school in the country. #1, there goes the bus. I was instrumental in getting that bus. People go to the hockey games. They go to the hockey games here. They don't go to the basketball games. They don't go to the football games. They don't promote the product. They should have been promoting freaking Dylan Jones, although they didn't. Gordon Monson writes an article 4 years after the fact. He's been here for 4 years. I mean, these Johnny-come-lately, but you know, at least he did. But we don't get teams in the dance. Montana State is 17. They're in a rebuilding year, remember? Danny, who I know personally, I used to go to March Madness with Danny. You know, everybody used to descend on Wendover, including Stu Morrill, but he was too busy playing slot machines. You know, Randy Ray, everybody. That's how everybody knows each other. We'd go to March Madness in Wendover and watch the games. You know, Danny, I mean, he was Montana State, right? So they got a new guy, they're rebuilding. They were under 5. This is a team that lost to Rocky Mountain or anything, but they turned it around. You know, they got hot, and this guy outcoached them. This guy just outcoached them. And they were ahead by 14, they got beat by Grambling. You know, that's what a 17-17 team does. But it's ridiculous. You win the regular season, you should go to the dance. It's that simple. I can see conference tournaments in some of the bigger tournaments. I get it, you know, greed and money. You know, I get it. You know, add one more into there that knocks teams like this out. But in a mid-major, all that work you do all year is in vain. And so the CIT tournament, I'm all for those type of tournaments. Hell yes, fun as hell. It's last time this way, but these coaches, of course, they're going to turn it down. I talked to the players. We've ordered to go. They've ordered to go. I know Dylan too good. I'll guarantee Dylan wanted to play. That's all he wants to do. All these guys. Coaches don't. They're ready for vacation. Why? They get paid the same amount of money. They're done with work. It's a sham. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking. Right? Rolling over in his grave. Lamasaka rolling over in his grave. Huh. How about Alan Holmes? He played at Weber State in a national championship. That's Byron Scott's real father. Huh. Oh, that don't count. It was a JC. That gym was way better than fucking, as far as players. Who was the coach back in those days in the late 50s and early 60s? Coach Peterson or Nelson or whatever. Oh, they won. Neil McCarthy. Oh, they won. Dick Motta. Oh, they won in the old Swenson gym. Here, Dick Hunsaker. No, they didn't give him the job. Why? Guy Beach. No, they didn't give him the job because he just played here. They don't like guys from here, locals. They both played here. Let's see, Dick Hunsaker, didn't he take a team to the Elite Eight? Yeah, at Ball State. He played here, won at the job. Neil McCarthy. Oh, he won. Those are all great coaches. It was Jeremy Boyette. So Jeremy Boyette signed when Arsenault went crazy. This was signed, and he talked Pat Dantley into coming. You know, Cravens got that team, and they went undefeated. That's why I told Pat Dantley somebody's talking shit over there because Eddie Gill. I said, Pat, come here. He lives here. I'm like, Pat, just remember, anybody talks any shit, just tell them, oh, really? Who's the only team in the history of the Big Sky to go undefeated? Two of them. 68, 69. Probably the greatest team in the history of the school. You know, I think they put 3 guys in the NBA, drafted in the NBA, but Willie Soldier played in the ABA with, you know, the doctor. Yeah, that Dr. J. So just Big Man, he got drafted by the Bulls, and so did Larry. Larry got drafted by the Trailblazers. Yeah. I mean, that team was all that. The team went to the Sweet 16. So should have won Elite 8. It's the greatest performance in the history. I got to quote the great Harold Arsenault of the show. This year, he's on the floor, him and Eddie Gill. When Dylan broke his record, I told Dylan, just remember, it took you 4 years to do what he did too. But that's just one record. Dylan is statistically, well, I think Dylan's the greatest player in the history of the school. I really do. He's all that dense. Something else. Harold Arsenault. Center court, standing next to Paul Thompson. This elite school. I was the student professor there, the biology, #1 biology, #1 finance, #1 nursing. I'm involved with all 3 of them. Blackball me. I fought him and fought him. Don't you dare gut this and turn this school into a supply chain. Jimmy DeGraffeney, who should be the coach here, who was probably the best student I ever saw in the school, but #1 school business in the country. He came out of that 95 team, maybe the best team in the history of the school, right there. The great Ruben Nemhart. The boy Baglin knew how to use it. And they got Hoff in the arc. He'd spread the court. They ain't knocking down no threes against them. Baglin knew how to coach. I'll tell you a story. I was with the Baglin. I worked for Baglin when Randy Ray came in, and Baglin was talking to Randy, and he drew up a play. He says, I think this play would work with this team. And he handed it, and as soon as Randy Ray went like that. Garbage. Randy Ray was so arrogant in his own little world. Randy Ray, you can go ask McCoy. Ask McCoy. Go talk to him. Big Sky. He says he didn't know what he had with Willard. I mean, it was McCoy and myself that had to tell him, hey, Randy, this guy's going to the NBA. What are you talking about? That's his freaking 3rd year. He was in his own little tunnel vision. And he had no desire to win in March. None, and he didn't. You know, they don't even play in the CIT. Harold Arsenault, the show, midcourt, standing there. Well, in 1999, Coach Baglin, Eddie, myself, Lawson, Jensen, named off all the players. We knew how good we were. We were that good. We knew how good we were. We went in there. We knew that we shouldn't be an underdog. We really feel like we were going to win all those games. I personally feel they were Final Four team. We went up there and we shocked the world and rocked them and showed them what we were saying. When we knocked and we sent North Carolina packing sent home, we should have Florida. It was a missed free throw. Dupay, who got busted for gambling, Florida shot that one that almost hit the ceiling. I was at the game. I sat with Judge Jensen, you know, the Jensen brothers' dad in Sackowitz. There's pictures all over out there. I sat with a Paul Baglin the next morning having breakfast when, Harold Arsenault, the show. That was in 1999. We're waiting for another team to come in and show the NCAA, show the country, show the world what Weber State basketball is. Still waiting. The conference tournament is a fucking joke. And if you're going to have a conference tournament, you better be ready and win big games early, and better win the games you should win. You know, they won the game. It blows my mind about this team. They won all these bracket buster type games. They won them all. But they couldn't win the other. I'll tell you why. Because these coaches all know each other. You got players that played 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's ridiculous. They're dog fights because they've been going at each other for years and years. I mean, Parker's on his 6th year at Idaho State. He's a beast. Moody's on his 7th. These are grown freaking men with careers and graduated from college a long time ago. I mean, I'll tell you, Dylan got up for the Arthur Ashe Award. That's pretty impressive. So, basketball program. I mean, Jay Hill turned the football program. It was nasty because I worked for Bruce Hanley. You know, wanted to kill it privately. Probably should have, but it sucked her up. It snowballed Chance Hill. But the basketball program is going the same way the school business. This great elite program. It's like in '99, I'm at that game, and it was like we were gut punch when Jackson missed that free throw to send him to the Swiss 16. They lose in overtime. So this century, Big Sky basketball, they won one game. I think it was Montana won in 2007 in the NCAA tournament. They lost the play-in game. Well, when you have a 17-17 team represent you, that's what happens. And you're not getting 2 teams in. I mean, if this team would have kept winning and got 30 wins, which I thought they were going to, everybody did. When you beat St. Mary's on the road, you beat Oral Roberts on the road, you beat Yale, Clearback East on the road. I mean, you beat the Jackrabbits, you beat all these conference championship teams, but then you get into this conference, and this conference, like I said, they all know it's a dogfight. I mean, it's like a rock throw. I'm the guy that termed that and called them rock throwing. I mean, these guys, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's sad. It's sad. Long live Arnie Farron. What a great guy. Long live Vern Garner. I used to be friends with him. He was a teacher at freaking Bonneville High School. Yeah, he played in the NBA for years. You know, lived right here. Long live Wapmasaka. Go Dylan Jones. Go get an NBA championship, Mr. Lillard. Go do it, man. Why not? Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. By the way, Ronna Bagelin's from Utah. It's the best coach we ever had here. How about Mata and Phil Johnson? They're from here. Well, right up there on the state line, which I call Southern Idaho or Northern Utah, which is one and the same. What, you don't like local people? Okay. Lillard will coach here someday. I hope. But till then, Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. Standy.